next speaker. She's a human rights trainer and a consultant for her company called Diversity Works. She's very passionate about disability awareness, youth and women empowerment. And Sister Rabia was also the recipient of the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Medal. So inshallah, she'll be talking to us on the topic of kindness as part of the Building an Exemplary Muslim Community. So please join me in welcoming Sister Rabia on stage.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. You remembered from past years. Let's try it again. I really want to have the feeling of how many people are in this room. Assalamu alaikum. Oh my God, I'm worried now. Too many people in the room listening to me. Okay, so I'm talking very briefly to you. I have about 10 minutes, and I was given the topic of kindness. Kindness is a characteristic of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I stand here speaking to you as somebody who has next to very little knowledge formally taught in any way about Islam. What I have learned is through very informal classes here and there over the years, and just random stuff that you pick up. And technology is amazing for blind people today. You know, it's the worst of times and it's the best of times. It's the best of times to have some vision loss because, you know, people like Steve Jobs invented technology. I'm here with an iPhone. I'm wired. You know, the hijab allows me to hide an earphone. I'm listening to my notes, and I'm talking to you. So I've been able to, you know, take the term that was thrown at me as a challenge for the topic today and use Google and browse a little bit and pick up a little bit of knowledge that I hope I can package and put together and make some sense out of for all of us to learn from. So Al-Rafiq is a characteristic of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is Al-Rafiq. He is the most gentle. He is the one who exemplifies what moderation is about, what dealing wisely in situations is indeed about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to take it easy. You know, what's the term today? Chill out. We need to chill out when we encounter different situations. So the idea of rifq, or kindness, gentleness, is a tremendous trait. I'm not going to spend time talking to you so much about the examples that you would find throughout prophetic tradition. I think many of you who study through the Al-Fajr programs and courses through ICNA, through the many, many projects of ICNA Sisters, you have quite a lot more knowledge and context to offer to this topic than I do. But I'm just sharing some thoughts of mine and in my experience. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in fact the most kind example of a human being left for us to learn from. So Rasulullah was kind not only to his family, he was kind to his companions, his neighbors, the environment, and the creatures that live within that environment. So the idea of rifq was exemplified throughout his life. The theme or vision of ICNA going forward is building an exemplary community. Well, we need to reflect on those characteristics that contribute to being absolutely exemplary. Exemplary means example. So the example guided by prophetic tradition, in fact. So kindness and gentleness, moderation, being easygoing. Again, I'm repeating myself. I'm reminding all of us to be kind. How many times do we get frustrated in traffic, Instead of just taking a deep breath and saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me more time to breathe, to reflect, to take a look around me and take in His creation, see what He has created around me, to appreciate the environment, to maybe see the flowers, smell the roses that are growing out there, the birds that are here, the birds that are flying up there, to appreciate what's around me instead of getting angry and honking that horn, getting frustrated and saying, oh, those darn drivers, or the gender jokes that get made, right? Must be a woman. Not all women are bad drivers. We see some of our crazy brothers out there, right? With road rage. So road rage, put it aside. Kindness, gentleness. Today, again, I guess commonly understood, many of you must have lived in the Gulf or traveled through the Gulf. Have you? Lived in the Gulf? So Rafiq is a common word today. And its common meaning is friend. Hey, friend. Hello, friend. Now, friendship, of course, is rooted in kindness. If somebody is rough and tough and mean, you're not going to be their friend. They're not exactly friendly. So today's word is friendship. When we look at ourselves and building that sense of community, well, we begin right at home. If we treat our family with kindness, and we model kindness, that kindness kind of rubs off on everybody, right? If I'm nice to you, you kind of feel guilty if you're not nice to me, right? You have to be nice to me too. So what we do then is we exemplify that kindness within the home and we take it to the neighborhood. We take it to the neighborhood, we take it to the community, we take it to the street, we take it to the mosque. How often do you get mad in mosque parking lots at Jummah? Very frequently, right? How often are we rushing and zigzagging and cutting off people and not going turn by turn to get out of that parking lot after just having participated in Jummah Salah, having made dua, having had this spiritual high, we go out there and we air our frustrations in the parking lot. Kindness and gentleness. Well, it begins, like I said, at home and in the neighborhood. Again, I should want for my brother what I want for me. And brother is undefined. It's not always the Muslim brother or sister. It's my neighbor. I want for my neighbor what I want for me. So if I want my neighbor to be kind to me, then I have to demonstrate that kindness to my neighbor. How do I do that? Well, harsh winters, I'm sure you've heard this example from me before. When you get that snowblower out, paying an extra $1 of fuel and an extra 20 minutes of your time to clear up your neighbor's driveway or clear up the common sidewalk is an act of kindness. And that act of kindness is not only rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it in fact is reciprocated by those who experience it. Again, we talk about the idea of engaging out there in the streets. Today, we live in an urban center. We live in chaos. Nobody has time. Everybody's in a hurry. We live in a me society, even though we talk about the collective we. Why do we have to have We Day to teach children the idea of the common good, the greater good, the sense of community? So if we truly are to build an exemplary community, again, me needs to move to we. And when we move to we, again, it's when we're getting on the bus. How often do we, as youth, as kids, give up our seat for somebody elderly? For a pregnant mom. We let them stand there and we watch them. We don't even think. Our nature has become complacent to the idea of being kind. We need to bring kindness back into our hearts and into our behaviors. So if we model kindness today in this society, we befriend people. When we befriend people, we combat Islamophobia. I'm sure you heard a presentation earlier today about Islamophobia, right? The fear of Muslims. Why are people afraid of Muslims? Because they don't know Muslims. They don't experience Muslims. We're not talking about experiencing Islam. We're talking about experiencing Muslims as our friends and our neighbors. When we become friends to our neighbors, suddenly the fear is lifted. Suddenly there's that sense of community. Suddenly the Muslim neighbor becomes exemplary. So moving toward that through kindness. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finds kindness to be absolutely beautiful, rewards kindness, and detests the idea of being harsh or the idea of harshness toward not only human beings, but to the environment and to our creatures around us, to animals, to birds, to insects, to those creatures in the ocean. So as Muslims, we have a tremendous obligation to demonstrate kindness to those who are vulnerable in society, to those who are simply our neighbors by no other fact but living next to us. Demonstrating kindness through giving charity in the form of a smile, a perfect sadaqah, a real cheap sadaqah actually, right? Does a smile cost you anything? Is it an act of kindness? Yes, it is, and it's easy to give. So please, smile as much as you can, extend your hand, be kind, hold those doors open for people, don't just rush through. Especially, we forget to be kind to our young ones, to our kids. Allow them to go ahead of you in the lineup to the food station. Allow them to enter as you hold the door open for them. Don't feel obligated that they don't have the right to go before you because they're younger. Let's give those who are more vulnerable to us as much rights as possible. So, small deeds, consistently applied, ongoing, we've heard about that, the idea of consistency, giving on an ongoing basis, providing on an ongoing basis, doing something repetitively. So an act of kindness doesn't have to cost us anything. An act of kindness we don't have to go out of our way for. It's in our homes, it's in our neighborhoods, it's in our daily activities. An act of kindness does not have to be expensive in any way. An act of kindness is easy. It's the idea of keep it up, keep doing that consistent gesture. You know, the garbage truck came, took the garbage, took the recycling, dumped those baskets on the street, on the sidewalk. When you pick up yours, pick up your neighbors and put them by their door. Those are small acts of kindness. When we as Muslims, and my ICNA sisters, I cannot praise them enough, have done a wonderful job of going out there, engaging, showing what they're made of, demonstrating the idea of kindness through their actions in shelters, in events, in activities, being visible out there, being seen as giving, as doing. That's what we need to exemplify and continue with. So we need to be seen doing, giving, demonstrating kindness, and kindness will conquer all differences, combat Islamophobia, and bring us to a better place. Let's build those relationships, let's build those friendships. It doesn't have to take much, and let's begin it with a smile. Jazakumullahu khairan.